Okay, this is my second video about beating Fritz 13 in sparring mode called Really Hard. And again, I was white in this game, and this game actually, like I said in my previous video, lasted 101 moves, so it's much longer. So let's go right to the game here. Again, I played e4, c6, knight c3, so we are looking at a Khan. So d5, knight f3, bishop g4, and I've sort of developed my own strategy or idea against computers here. So after bishop g4, h3, takes, and knight f6, and here I go g4. So the computer took, d takes, knight takes, queen takes, e6. Now, of course, had this been a human opponent, probably the game would have been equalized immediately after queen d5. I don't know. But then bishop to g2, and then it just takes. I don't see any problems for black. But the computer played e6. Obviously that's okay now because there is no like square bishop anywhere. So bishop g2, knight e7, d4, knight f6, queen d3, queen b6. I suppose the idea for black here is to castle long and attack my d4 square. So I play c3, bishop e7, castles long, and here I immediately went queen c2, just avoiding any c5 or e5 ideas. h5, g5, knight e5, a3. I want to play c4, but if I play c4 right away, then there's also knight to c5, so I played a3 first. Bishop d6, c4. Obviously black is losing a piece. Knight f4, c5, queen b5, takes, and a little check on e2. I went to h1, and now knight takes d4, queen e4, knight b3. Okay, I just move my rook, takes, and now so I've lost a couple of pawns against for a piece. So I have at this point I have 5 pawns against 7, I think. Yes, so I'm down 2 pawns. Obviously I'm much better here. Queen takes, g5, so I'm losing another pawn, but you know, that's the price I'm prepared to pay for my attack. So queen e5, I'll just trade off everything, and here offer a trade. I do have my bishop against, well, let's say the pawns, and okay, what else to say about this? Maybe I should have instead of rook b2, perhaps I should have, well, okay, after rook a2, maybe I should have tried something like a check here and a check there, and that would have been the end of the game, perhaps. Well, it was a bliss game. Okay, so let's go through this pretty fast because it was a long game. So I have one pawn, a very important pawn on c6 that I need to protect. Okay, black is just losing all his pawns. So it's a little bit of a challenge here to get my king all the way up here to, well, e5 or possibly even d6, but I need to use my bishop for that. So the king is absolutely the most important piece. Obviously, without the king, these 3 pieces would just go back and forth the whole time, and there's no way to advance the pawn. But with the help of the king, that's a very easy thing to do. So now I just threaten to check on b7, and the king has to go back. And now, once I've cut the king off, so to speak, all I have to do is advance that pawn, and that's it. checkmate. Okay, I think the most important thing about games like this is the opening when you play against computers. So I have tried all sorts of openings, and this is one in the Caro-Kann. I'm not quite sure how the opening goes in theory, but I think this is theory so far. But instead of g4, perhaps the correct move, well, the theoretical move is bishop b2, or even d4 perhaps, or maybe even e5. But g4 is interesting too. Now, obviously I wouldn't play against, like this against a human opponent, but I'm not playing against a human opponent here, so... Okay, I hope you enjoyed this one. Like I said, it was a pretty fast, long game. Black lost a piece, but he did get 3 pawns for the piece. But then I ended up having a pass pawn on c6, protected by my bishop on g2, and then I went on winning a bunch of pawns, well, virtually all his pawns, like this, and I picked up every pawn actually. So again, in endgames like this, you always need to activate your king, and that's what I was trying, but you know, it's not always simple, especially not in a blitz game. And then you have to drive the black king away, or your opponent's king, in order to push your pawn and cut the king off, so to speak. Obviously here there was no need to play rook b4, I could play rook to b1 immediately, but you know, it doesn't matter, it was a blitz game like I said. Now all you have to do is just push the pawn once you're there, and that's it. And then I ended up having a rook and a bishop against, well, a lone king. Okay, hope you enjoy this, and see you soon.